Hello everybody, how are we all doing? The Premier League is back. The Premier League predictions are back. I am really looking forward to this. Obviously 12 games to predict this game week. Obviously there's 2 games from game week 29 because of obviously the Carabao Cup final being Man City Aston Villa. So the first 2 games of the predictions are Aston Villa against Sheffield United and Manchester City against Arsenal. Now, obviously 2 big games, but it's so good to be back. It's so good to be bringing the predictions back, and it's so good to have the Premier League back. So without further ado, let's kick things off with basically match week 29, and obviously the 2 games in match week 29 are as follows: Aston Villa against Sheffield United, Manchester City against Arsenal. Now, then obviously match week 30 we have Norwich City against Southampton, Tottenham against Manchester United. They are 2 Friday night games, and then we've got the Saturday games. We've got Watford against Leicester City, Brighton against Arsenal, West Ham against Wolves, Bournemouth against Crystal Palace, Newcastle United against Sheffield United. Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, and then we move into Sunday: Newcastle United, Sheffield United, Aston Villa against Chelsea, Everton against Liverpool, the Merseyside derby, and then Monday night we have Manchester City against Burnley. Fixtures coming in thick and fast, but here we go. The return of the predictions starts now. So, Aston Villa against Sheffield United. The last 5 meetings between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to Aston Villa, 1 draw and 1 win to Sheffield United, and the last result was a 3-0 win to Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa's form going in before obviously the virus struck was not good. It was 1 win and 5. Obviously they beat Watford, but that was followed up by 4 straight defeats in a row. And those defeats were to Leicester City, Southampton, Spurs and Bournemouth. So yeah, Villa's form's not going really well at this moment in time. It's going to be very interesting to see, because obviously they have John McGinn coming back, potentially Wesley coming back, potentially Tom Heaton coming back as well. I think they've been missing John McGinn, and I've said this number of times, is that John McGinn is that biggest missing link in their midfield. Someone who can tackle, someone who can pass the ball, and even get the odd goal as well. And that is something you'd have to say about Aston Villa. But this is a big game because they must start winning now. Yes, they're only 2 points behind. Obviously, they're obviously 2 points behind Bournemouth, Watford, and West Ham. It's going to be very interesting to see if they can do it. As far as Sheffield United go, 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5. Obviously, the loss was to Manchester City. That was a 1-0 defeat. But then they followed out with a 1-0 win at Crystal Palace, which is a very good result. 2-1 against Bournemouth at home, and then they beat Norwich 1-0 at home as well. So really interesting one to kick things off. So how do I see this one going? I can't really separate them. I know Sheffield United have got a really good away record. Villa, they'll definitely want to definitely get a win if they can, but I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a draw on this one. And I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Aston Villa and Sheffield United. But we shall see what happens. It's a very interesting game for sure. And it can only get better as the games go on. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this game, and we shall see what happens. So the next game to predict is Manchester City against Arsenal. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 5 wins to the citizens, as we like to call them. The last meeting was a 3-1 win for Manchester City. Obviously, the bearing on the result of this game, City need to win. City need to beat Arsenal. And they go into this game, let's just say they've won the last 7 meetings with Arsenal. So I don't think they'll be too bothered about that. Obviously, Man City going into, obviously, before the virus struck, obviously 25 points behind Liverpool. and obviously they had their eyes set on the Champions League, because obviously the last game they beat Real Madrid 2-1 in the Bernabeu, and then obviously it all stopped after that, and obviously they came off the back of a 2-0 defeat in the Manchester derby. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of mood the City players are in. Looking forward to this game, because obviously Arsenal. Well, it has to be said, their away form is absolutely woeful at this moment in time. They haven't won many games away, and at home they're not faring much better. Ninth in the table at the moment. They're on track for their worst season ever as a Premier League club at this moment in time, Arsenal. So that's something you would have to say for sure. And it doesn't help the fact that Arsenal lost to Brentford in a friendly as well. So it's not going very well for the Gunners. But you have to say that obviously Mikel Arteta is going back to Manchester City. Obviously he was Pep Guardiola's assistant, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that will affect him. Prediction is concerned, I'm going to have to say a Man City win. I can't see Arsenal getting anything from the Etihad, unfortunately. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Manchester City. So I think that's going to be very, very interesting. But City really like playing Arsenal, especially. And yeah, like the last 5 meetings, it's been 5 wins to City. So definitely one to look forward to. But that's obviously Wednesday's games out of the way. We now have Friday night games, and we have Norwich City against Southampton and Tottenham against Manchester United. Norwich against Southampton. Norwich City, big game this one. Big game. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Norwich and 3 wins to Southampton. The last result was a 1-0 win to Norwich City. Now, obviously Norwich City, let's see their form. Norwich City, it's a win, 3 defeats and a draw in that wee run-in. Obviously, Sheffield United was the last game they played. They lost 1-0. They beat Leicester 1-0, which was very, very good. Lost to Wolves by 3-0. Lost to Liverpool at home 1-0. And drew 0-0 away against Newcastle. Now, the majority of Norwich's games are at home. So, home form is the key for Norwich to obviously try and get out of this mess that they're in. They are bottom of the table. They're only 6 points behind, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Watford. But this is a must-win game for them. I think if they have any chance to want to stay up, home form is key. They have to make use of their home games, I would say. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, they will have most of their players back, I would think, as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Southampton, they've got 1 win and 4 defeats in their last 5. So they're on a little bit of a sticky spell at the moment, Southampton. They've won the majority of the games away this season. They've won 6 away games. They've only won 4 home games. So that's something that they'll look at, and they'll definitely want to improve before the season is out. So I said that Norwich City have to take advantage of their home games. I'm going to go for a Norwich City win. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Norwich City win. There are going to be unpredictable results, I think, to obviously return with the Premier League. I think this is one of them. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Norwich City. I do think Norwich City can win this game and put pressure on the teams above them. So I think that will be very, very interesting. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Norwich City in the game. The next game is a very big one. It is Jose Mourinho against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Spurs and 3 wins to Manchester United. The last result was a 1-0 win to Manchester United. Well, what can we say about Spurs? Their form is as erratic as you can probably get at this moment in time. So two wins, 2 defeats, and a draw. The wins were against Man City and Aston Villa. Losses were against Chelsea and Wolves, and they drew 1-1 at Burnley. as well. Dele Alli will be missing from the game because obviously he has been suspended because of a social media post about the virus, etc. So that's not very good. So obviously Tottenham will be missing him, but Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Bergwijn are all back, fit and raring to go. So Spurs are getting their big players back at the right time. It's going to be very interesting. Will Harry Kane start? That's the big question you'd have to say. Will Harry Kane start? Shall be very interesting to see for the latest. So the visitors, Manchester United, they are unbeaten in their last 5 games. They have had 3 wins and 2 draws. Obviously 0-0 against Wolves at home, followed up by a 2-0 away win against Chelsea, 3-0 win against Watford, and then a 1-1 draw at Everton. But they beat Manchester City by 2-0. Definitely one of the form teams going in before obviously this virus kicked in as well. It's going to be very interesting because obviously Manchester United have Pogba back, Rashford back, Martial back. All their players are going to be back for this game. Will Pogba start? That's another good question for people to wonder. I don't think he will, to be honest. I think it'd be very unfair on Scott McTominay if he does get dropped for this game, because I think he was absolutely magnificent in the Manchester derby as well. So yeah, this is a Friday night game. Because of Spurs' erratic form, I think Manchester United will win this game. And I think they will probably win it comfortably. I expect obviously Rashford to play as well. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Manchester United. So that's going to be very interesting indeed. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Manchester United. And now we have the Saturday games kicking things off at 12:30. We have Watford against Leicester City. And the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Watford and 3 wins to Leicester City. The last result was a 2-1 win to Watford. Has to be said, Watford, let's just say that they have had a pretty good run in recently. Yes, obviously they are just above the relegation zone at this moment in time. However, they have had a better run-in for sure. Okay, it's one win, and that win was against Liverpool as well. But obviously, they lost against Palace, they lost against Man United, they lost against Everton as well. So, yeah, Watford will go into that thinking that they could probably win this game against Leicester. Leicester City's form, a bit, yeah. They had lost a couple of games going into it as well. 2 draws, 2 defeats, and 1 win in their last 5. And obviously that win was against Aston Villa. It'd be very interesting to see how they do in this game. Because is it Vicarage Road? I honestly don't know, because obviously Nigel Pearson is in charge. Obviously he's coming up against his former employers, Leicester City. Going to be a very interesting game, I'm going to say. Really difficult one to call, but I think Watford, because they will spur on from the fact that they beat Liverpool 3-0 in the last game, I'm going to go for Watford for another surprise here. Watford 2, Leicester City 1. I think Watford will win this game, and it will dent Leicester City's top 4 hopes as well. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Watford in this game. Brighton against Arsenal now, ladies and gents. And we have the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Brighton, 2 draws and 1 win to Arsenal. And the last result was a 1-1 draw. However, Brighton beat Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium earlier this season. So that's something to look ahead to. Brighton, the majority of their games are at home as well. So, obviously you would want obviously the first 2 Saturday games, I should say, are both live on BT Sport as well. I mean, Brighton are sitting in 15th place at the moment, 29 points from 29 games. It's not too bad. Graham Potter's done a very, very good job so far. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal have never won at the Annex, so that's one thing you could say. And plus, Arsenal's away form is really, really poor, as I've said. Arsenal, I don't expect them to get anything from the Etihad. And to be honest, their record against Brighton is not great. It is not great. Especially, I think, the last two games. I think they drew 1-1 at the Emirates. And obviously they lost at the Emirates as well. So, Brighton have got a good record against Arsenal. I think that record will continue. I'm going to go for another shock result here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Brighton. I do think Brighton will beat Arsenal again. And it will definitely dent Arsenal's chances of Europa League football. It will dent their chances of top four as well. But then again, I don't think they're in the top four race as things stand. So that's one thing you could say for that. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Brighton. West Ham against Wolves now we have. And the last five between the sides have resulted in 1-1 to West Ham, 1 draw and 3 wins to Wolves. The last result was a 1-0 win to Wolves. West Ham have got a really nightmare run-in, it has to be said. Some of their home games that they have as well. They've got some really, really hard games, especially Chelsea at home. And obviously they go to Manchester United away as well. And the final game of the season is Aston Villa at home. That could be a very, very pivotal game as well. West Ham's form has been absolutely shocking recently as well. But will the fact that there's no fans, will that maybe help West Ham? Because in all honesty, the London Stadium is a nice stadium, but it's not a football stadium. So that'll be very interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how well they can do without fans as well. Wolves' form has been a bit up and down, it has to be said. But they are riding high. They're obviously in 6th place at this moment in time. Level on points with Sheffield United as well. So going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. I am going to pick... this is a really hard one to call because obviously, West Ham fighting for survival. Wolves going for Europe. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Wolves. I think Wolves will win this game. I think... I know I've gone 1-0, but it'd be interesting to see what kind of sides these two put out. But I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Wolverhampton Wanderers in this game. And the evening game is Bournemouth against Crystal Palace, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 1 win to Bournemouth, 2 draws and 2 wins to Crystal Palace. The last result was a 2-1 win to Bournemouth. Another team really, really struggling for form, Bournemouth. Really, really interesting to see that obviously, Bournemouth second bottom at the moment. It's not, they're not second bottom. Sorry, I should say they are 18th at the moment. That's one thing. Yeah, the one thing that you can take from Bournemouth is that they are level on points with obviously West Ham and Watford as well. So that's going to be very, very interesting. It's really, really tight at the bottom as well. I think it's Norwich City 20th, 21, 19th Aston Villa 25, and then Bournemouth, Watford, West Ham are on 27, and Brighton are on 29, and obviously Southampton 14 and 34. So really, really hard one to call. Obviously, there's been conflicting rumours that Ryan Fraser will not be getting a contract extension, so he could potentially sign for somebody free from July the 1st, so that's going to be very, very interesting to see, to say the least. Bournemouth just need players back. I mean, I know Josh King's been injured half the season. They definitely need players back, and that is one thing you could say for sure for Bournemouth. Palace, I don't think they're in any relegation trouble, and I think they could take advantage of the fact that they've got a decent record against Bournemouth. In all honesty, obviously where are we? Yeah, two wins in the last 5 meetings with Bournemouth. So I think Crystal Palace will win this game. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Crystal Palace. And it dents Bournemouth's survival hopes for sure. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Crystal Palace in this game. And we move on to the Sunday games, and we have Newcastle United against Sheffield United. The first meeting between these two at the St James's Park since the 4th of November 2006, where Sheffield United ran out 1-0 winners on the day. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see. So the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to Newcastle and 2 wins to Sheffield United. Excuse me. And as I've said, the last meeting was a 1-0 win to Sheffield United. Newcastle United, we have to applaud Steve Bruce for what he's done for Newcastle. He's done very, very well. Shall be very interesting to see. Obviously there's talk of the takeover. That's been in the news for months and months and months now, and it just doesn't seem to be happening. Nothing seems to be happening at the moment for Newcastle at the moment, but. As we said, that it's going to be a very interesting game, and they've got a really, really interesting running as well. Newcastle, obviously Liverpool to finish on the final day of the season, and they've got some really, really tricky games. But I don't think they're in any relegation trouble, to be honest. I think Steve Bruce has done a really, really good job, and he has to be applauded for that. Sheffield United, obviously, I do expect Sheffield United to draw against Aston Villa. But they've got a fantastic away record. Only 2 defeats, I think, from memory, are Man City and Liverpool. I think they're the only 2 away defeats that they've had all season. They've been a breath of fresh air, Sheffield United. They've been absolutely magnificent as well. So I'm going to go for, because Sheffield United are away, you never back against Sheffield United away. That's one thing I could say for that. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Sheffield United. So I'm going to go for the same result that happened on the 4th of November 2006, where Sheffield United won 1-0. I'm going to go for the same result, 1-0 to Sheffield United. So going to go for that. Aston Villa against Chelsea. The last 5 meetings between the sides, 5 wins to Chelsea. And the last result was a 4-0 win to Chelsea. Really, really interesting game, this one, because obviously Aston Villa, if they do get a point against Sheffield United, they will move on to 26 points. And that will be very, very interesting as well. Look, obviously Villa are one of those sides that are obviously battling to stay up. Chelsea going for top four for sure. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed, because Chelsea are they were in good form actually. Obviously, the emergence of Billy Gilmore as well. That's one player to watch. I think is Billy Gilmore as well. I would expect him to probably get like a wee running in the Chelsea side, because Frank Lampard he does so well with youth as well. So that's one thing you could say. Looking at this game, Chelsea won the last 5 meetings with Aston Villa. Aston Villa really, really need to take advantage of their home games. But unfortunately, I'm going to go for a Chelsea win in this one. I think Chelsea will be too strong for Aston Villa. Going to go for a 2-1 win to Chelsea in this game. So going to be very, very interesting, that one. And we move on to Sunday evening, 7 o'clock kickoff. Everton against Liverpool, the 236th Merseyside derby. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 draws and 2 wins to Liverpool. And the last result was a 0-0 draw against the sides. Everton, what can we say? 13th place that they are at the moment, or is it 12th? It's either 12th or 13th if I remember rightly. Everton's form has been so poor recently. Although since Carlo Ancelotti came in, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has had a bit of a lease of life. He's been absolutely magnificent in that Everton side. One of the players to watch for sure for Everton. Everton looking for the first Merseyside derby victory at Goodison Park since 2010, when Mikel Arteta and Tim Cahill gave the Blues a 2-0 win over Liverpool. but that was when Roy Hodgson was in charge. Ever since then, Everton have just had a really, really poor record against Liverpool. Now, Liverpool. It has to be said, the run that they had going into before the virus struck was a bit patchy. It has to be said, because they lost to Watford, they obviously lost to Chelsea, and they obviously lost to Atletico Madrid as well. Obviously, they beat Bournemouth 2-1, but they went behind in that game as well. So Everton will look at that and thinking we could get something from this game. Regarding with the result of Manchester City Arsenal, Liverpool could potentially be crowned champions at Goodison Park were they to win. But I don't think that's going to happen, because obviously, like I've said Man City to beat Arsenal. So that's one thing I'm going to say there. But I just think Liverpool will get that really, really important win. I don't think it's going to be a very classic game. I don't think it's going to be a very, very exciting game. I think it'll be very, very nervy. And whoever has their shooting boots on, I think will win this one. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Liverpool in this game. I think it's going to be a very, very nervy, scrappy affair. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Liverpool. And the final game to preview and predict is Manchester City against Burnley. Last 4 wins to City, 1 draw. The last result was a 5-0 win to Manchester City. Man City, obviously, I would expect them to beat Arsenal as well. Got a really good record against Burnley. As I've said, 4 wins and a draw in their last 5 meetings. Obviously, we are going to be saying goodbye to David Silva as well at the end of the season as well. He's obviously going to go back to Spain. So he's another one to watch as well. So going to be very interesting. Burnley have had a very good season. Obviously, they're sitting 10th at the moment. Nobody likes to play Burnley, and obviously Burnley will obviously be boosted by the fact that the last time they were in Manchester, they beat Man United 2-0. So, will that repeat itself for this game? I don't think it will, but that's one thing you can say is that Burnley are a very tricky team to play against. Sean Dyche will have them fired up as well. So I don't think they'll beat City though, because they haven't got a very good record against City. But I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Manchester City in this game. So that is my predictions done and dusted for obviously the 2 games midweek and obviously Matchweek 30. So I will go through them very, very quickly as well. Aston Villa 1, Sheffield United 1. Manchester City 3, Arsenal 1. That takes care of Matchweek 29. Matchweek 30, Norwich City 2, Southampton 1. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 2. Watford 2, Leicester City 1. Brighton 2, Arsenal 1. West Ham 0, Wolves 1. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. Newcastle United 0, Sheffield United 1. Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 2. Everton 0, Liverpool 1. And Manchester City 3, Burnley 1. So that is it. That is my Matchweek 30 predictions done and dusted. Obviously, I will leave a template of these fixtures. All you have to do is copy and paste and leave your predictions in the comment section down below. I really want to get a gathering of people to try and obviously get predictions in the comments. Obviously, a few of you have obviously been following the Bundesliga as well. Really thankful for that as well. So I would hope that I would see some of you join in. Obviously, join in if you want as well. But yeah, really looking forward to the Premier League returning as well, and going to be very, very exciting. But yeah, please leave your predictions in the comment section down below, and obviously if you do get a very good score, then you will get a shout out in the next video as well. But from starting next season, I will be keeping a tally of people's predictions, so obviously get your predictions in, and yeah, just join in as well. So before I go, I would just like to have a few shout outs. Now, go and vote for that United family at the FCAs. Obviously, fantastic channel. Obviously, they have me on their podcast quite a lot. as well. So obviously I do a lot of work with them as well. So please go and vote for them. Carl and Emma do a fantastic job. So please go and vote for them. Also, go and vote for Nicole. United She Stands as well. Does some very good articles on Manchester United as well. Very good, and yeah, they've helped me a lot as well. So three fantastic people. Please go and vote for them. I will leave their description in the description below as well, and obviously I'll leave a link to obviously vote for that as well. So, and obviously if you want to check out other prediction channels, obviously Bluebird Legend. Obviously, he does Premier League predictions. He does obviously Bundesliga predictions as well. Fandango, obviously go and follow him. Obviously, he's a West Ham fan, but he does really good predictions as well. Roberto Hollis, go and follow him. He obviously does his Premier League predictions as well. There's a lot of channels that do Premier League predictions, so I will leave all their descriptions in the description down below as well, and obviously go and give them a subscribe, go give them a follow, and obviously go and vote for that United family and United She Stands Nicole as well. But thank you very much for watching, and if you do like my content, then please hit that subscribe button. Big thank you to everyone who's obviously got me to 300 subscribers as well. It's been absolutely fantastic to do this, and I'm absolutely delighted to bring back the Premier League predictions. I've missed doing them, there's no doubt about it as well. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Enjoy your Premier League weekend. It feels good to be saying that again, doesn't it? It feels so good to be saying that again. Enjoy your Premier League weekend. Enjoy the football. All the games live on TV. Some are on terrestrial TV, some are on Sky Sports, some are on BT Sport. Just enjoy the football. The Premier League is back. The greatest show on earth is back. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. The Premier League is back. Enjoy. See you later.